Let the chaos reign.
T.R.S. Reign presents Weinstein Effect and the End of Interaction with Men and Women. Broadcast March the 1st, 2020. Enjoy.
The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
In a world where there's crime, corruption, violence, rape, theft, and all forms of atrocities that plague the world in which we live in today, what you're witnessing, we are living in a state of chaos, and it's taking much greater or much extremer chaos to restore the order in which the world we live in today. Good evening, my people. This is Chaos here, and tonight, you know, it's a very interesting broadcast. As you know, there was a lot of things that's been going around for the past week that just passed. And I noticed people through podcasting, YouTube, etc., have been watching this trial and see it unfold now that everybody was thinking that it could never happen, but it did happen. But before I go into this broadcast, and I see people already not, feeling this stream. It's natural. I get it. Go to TalkRealSolutions.com, where you could see the latest articles, news. Also, in the website, there's a donation tab where you could donate a little to the show, a little as $5 or greater. I guess with the website now, it is what is present. So, don't be hesitant and check the website for yourself for all the latest information. Also, we have a T.R.S. news. It comes on every Thursday around 9 o'clock. And we normally do a recap on a lot of things that's going around the world, here in America and abroad. usually normally political and etc. So check the that out on Thursdays. All other days, it varies. We sometimes have All Facts and even ABC. Sometimes do the shows here. But, that's pretty much it with that side. Also, as y'all know, we also got a YouTube channel now. You could type in Talk World Solutions, same one as before. This is like a new channel. I told y'all this in the last broadcast. I'll tell you now. You can subscribe to the new T.R.S. channel for all the latest broadcast episodes. It's also here also on YouTube where you could recap this stream and previous shows. So if you missed the recordings on free conference call, which number to call in is 712-770-4160, the access code 915-411#. You could also go through the free conference call to re-listen to the broadcast. But if you don't like going through that method, you can always go back to YouTube on Talk Real Solutions on YouTube to catch all episodes, including this one. So, all the information is there. And like always, donate to the show. So let us, I guess, begin with this unusual topic. Let me search Mr. Tonight's topic is, this is Chaos Reign Presents, like always. This is the Weinstein effect and end of interaction with men and women. Now, why is it even at the end of the title, this might be the end of interaction with men and women, as we know it? As y'all noticed, for the past, now going on almost 2 years, since the Toronto Burke incident revealed about she'd been sexually, abused or mishandled by people that have certain status in certain positions, particularly in media, movies, etc., depending on what role she plays. She has pushed and started an initiative that is appealing, which people started to catch attention to. And because of her efforts and works, it has been formally hijacked for other non-black women, particularly, Latino, white, Caucasian, Italian, Irish, Jewish, all the, the labels, when given, like, instead of black, white, these other groups of women. And they took it over to use as their own to get certain agendas or certain things in their favor through all of the so-called abuse of power by these so-called prestige men. And one of them that was taken down very heavy for the last week was the man they call Harvey Weinstein. And looking into this, and I'm going to pull up the article itself, just for my sake to look at. So let me do this. Okay. I'm probably going to reread this if it hasn't been said already for those who really pay attention. Weinstein verdict brings Manhattan DA a much-needed win. The Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Van Jr. declares that Harvey Weinstein convictions mark a new landscape for survivors of sexual assault in America. As you know, sexual assault is kind of a problem here in America. The New York Times, or New York NBC, soon after Harvey Weinstein was convicted and led out of court in handcuffs, Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Van Jr. was in front of television cameras declaring that the verdict marked a new landscape for survivors of sexual assault in America. Do tell. Naming the 6 women who testified against Weinstein and the 2 prosecutors who tried the case, Vance said last week that they had pulled our justice system into the 21st century by declaring that rape is rape and sexual assault is sexual assault, no matter what. Let's pause right there for a second. Now, I know women need rights. They need to be protected. I get it. I understand. Well, and you should. But this is my thing with the issue right now with the sexual assault problem, especially in this country. What I've noticed now for the past 2 years, from now they get R. Kelly, which he's next, regardless of how it's going to turn out. But they got Bill Cosby. They get some other people on here just for a whiffle of a smell of a woman for every little thing in regards to sexual assault. And the funny thing about all this is that there's a timetable for every little thing. And I feel in my mind that this country opened a very big Pandora's box with this. And the reason why I'm saying this is because now there is no actual timetable where, you could bring up something that you should present it a year ago instead of 10, 20, hell, even 40 years ago. And what I've noticed, the trend that's being developed here in this country can be problematic and even dangerous if not careful, how a lot of things is boiling up as we see right now in the generation of the first 21st century. And what I mean by generation, we are now 20 years into the 21st century. So let me continue reading. Weinstein convicted of rape and sexual assault by acquitting on 2 counts. Predatory sexual assault, faced up to 29 years in prison. He is scheduled to be sentenced on March 11th, which is 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Weinstein conviction in the landmark Me Too case boosts Vance legacy. A career defendant who went a decade in tenure that has been clouded by concerns that he repeatedly gave powerful people special treatment, such as sidestepping efforts to pursue charges against Weinstein in 2015. Now, roughly 5 years now. The troubled history involves Vance, including dropping rape charges against former International Monetary Fund Director Dominique Strauss-Kahn in 2011. Among concern about inconsistencies in the account of the hotel maid who accused him, a prosecutor taking the usual steps of seeking low-level sex offenders status for Jeffrey Epstein alarms the judge, who said she had never seen a prosecuting office do anything like this, and striking a deal in 2016 so a well-connected genealogist accused of sexual abuse patents could avoid prison, or patients could avoid prison. Now, anyway. In a handful of interviews last week, Vance apologized to women who felt that they had been heard by the office. He said the Me Too movement, spawned by scores of allegations against Weinstein in October of 2017, has changed how prosecutors and society responds to sexual crime. I think we lack law enforcement and society everywhere is understand better the dynamics around sexual assault. Vance told WNBC TV, "I am changed only to the extent that I am more arming than ever of the courage that it took for these women to testify against Harvey Weinstein and to testify against a man who his own power and prestige and vindictiveness took real courage or vindictiveness." Vance celebrated by the likes of Law and Order SVU star Makasha Harkington, I don't know if I pronounced her name right, for devoting some of the office hefty fortune slush fund to reduce a massive backlog of untested rape kits across the country. Said he hopes that the Weinstein verdict would comply more sexual assault victims to crime forward. He definitely views this as a victory. Fordham University political science professor Christina Greer said of Vance, "But I'm viewing it as a victory for the victim over Harvey Weinstein and over a DA who has not been aggressively in the past. I think a lot of New York were asking, well, what took so long?" Greer added, "Why was it that the court of public opinion that had a pressure you to do something?" Vance, 65-year-old son of the late former U.S. Secretary of State Cyrus Van Jr., or Van Sir, has not said if he would run for re-election next year. In recent years, he worked to strengthen his bona fide as a Democrat prosecutor willing to take on President Donald Trump and his associates. Those efforts include a looming Supreme Court fight over a subpoena for the president's tax and business records and a failed effort to prosecute former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort as a backstop to a potential pardon. A judge in December found that the case amounted to double jeopardy and threw it out. Yeah. For the first time, though, Vance has potentially challengers lining up. In an apparent shot at Vance, who has been in office since 2010, candidates Alvin Braggs wrote on his website, "For too long in Manhattan, we had two standards of justice, one for the rich and powerful and another for everyone else." You know, that's true, because usually if you have money in this country, you could probably get away with murder. And we all know that through history that, you know, if you have a certain status in this country, you could be exempt from a lot of things. A lot of people think that's not true, but the more people know and you have a cumulative of wealth, you can get away with a lot of things. So that I agree that there is a separation when it comes to this law and the justice system. I mean, if you look at most people, especially black people, if they get themselves a certain status, you know, you might protect yourself more in this justice system, possibly. But if you don't got no money and you don't have no certain status, it's kind of hard to fight against a justice system that you don't run. And we all know through the present time and back in the past through history when it comes to the justice and just us. Let's go on. As he was taking a front row seat in the courtroom gallery to watch Weinstein accuser testify, there were growing calls for Vance to resign immediately from other women who said he and his office had let them down. Among them, Avril Bettinelli, I think Grazieras, who said Vance failed her in not bringing charges when she accused Weinstein of groping her at his Manhattan office in 2015. And Marcia Holchester, one of dozens of women, accuses Robert Haddon, the genealogist, who avoid prison time, or gynecologist. Gitsura, a Filipino-Italian model, went to police immediately and later recorded Weinstein admitting and apologizing for the encounter. Prosecutors have said there were concerns about the strength of the evidence of Gitsura's case. In their book, she said, the New York Times report Jodi Kintor and Megan Toffine, who helped expose allegations against Weinstein, detail how his legal team, led by Vance's former law partner Elkind, Admiral Zixik raised doubt about Gutsiri's credibility, or Gutsiri. I don't know if I pronounce her name right. Very much Italian, maybe. According to the book, the lawyers point out her testimony in an Italian court alleged former Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi had a sex party with teenage girls and a sexual assault allegation that she had made against a man in his 70s. We were looking at these cases with 2015 eyes. Vance told the Times last week we weren't looking at that case with 2019 eyes. Interesting. 2 months before Weinstein's arrest in May 2018, Governor Andrew Cuomo called for an investigation into Vance's handling of the 2015 case. Though the probe was later suspended, Vance told the Times he is enlisted a nonprofit organization to provide an independent evaluation of how his office handles sex crimes cases and threats accusers. Holchester said Vance's office misled her about the status of limitations in Hedden case and was already negotiating a plea deal with the former Columbia University doctor who she was still taking to prosecuting about testifying at a potential trial or talking. Holchester said she initially felt relief sitting in court watching Hedden plead guilty, but realized after reading the agreement, the prosecutors agreed not to charge him with any of other crimes they were awarded of, including the one she said he committed against her. I just realized how badly I had been treated and taken advantage of, and Holchester said. Evelyn Yang, the wife of former Democrat president candidate Andrew Yang, disclosed in January that she had been assaulted by the same doctor with renewed attempts or attentions on the case of increased pleasure. Vance's office said last week it would reopen the investigation. It shouldn't take being a movie star to be heard. Yang said, and it should take your husband running for president to be heard. And that's the end of this article. But really, I really want to check in of what was the thing that he was guilty for. Let me check. Okay. Let me go back because I got to find this specific article. All right. I think this is the one. Now, obviously, if I'm not sure it was on videotape, but when Harvey Weinstein was found guilty, he, you know how he had that Sanford son moment, which I heard from other people. Yeah, that's funny as hell. But yeah, you're gonna do some time in jail, my dude. While in the ambulance on his way to Rikers Island jail, Harvey Weinstein was redirected to Bellevue Hospital, according to the spokesperson Jody Eganmere. And Weinstein was taken to the hospital after feeling chest pains of having heart palpitations and high blood pressure, according to his attorney. Yeah, you will feel like that when you go through time in jail, buddy. Shit, you probably should have had a heart attack right in the courtroom when it said, you're found guilty. That's how it goes, say you're going to do some time in jail, you might drop, you don't want to drop the soap, you feel me? But anyway, let's go down. Let me see if I can find it. Anytime I hear if he got a fair trial. I'm skipping down to find what these go. All right. This man's on a wheelchair, too, so you know he's 7 years old. And he's an old dude. Okay. I'm just trying to find what he got. But he's in Rutgers Eyes right now, book, so 5'11", 10 pounds with brown hair. And okay, so he's like almost 6 feet. We have ladies in the background, and I'm not sure what this one is.
Want to say a big hello to all of our Facebook viewers out there. I'm Jean Casares, correspondent with CNN. We are in downtown New York City. We are at the court.
All right, well, I'm not going to watch that. Be patient, people. I'm trying to find what he was found guilty of rape. I think this might be, wait, actually. All right. 2 counts of sexual assault. Okay. All right. I think this might be the one that he saw. Harvey Weinstein is disgraced. Former Hollywood producer was found guilty of criminal sexual assault and rape in a 3rd degree in a New York court Monday. Okay, charged with predatory sexual assault of rape and 1st degree. Let me go down, see if this is the right one. Oh, here it is. Okay. These are the counts in charge. Charge for Harvey Weinstein counts. And here's the thing. Count 1, predatory sexual assault. Hallie Scarroll. Sentence guideline, 10 to life. That's 1. Red. This is when he is found guilty. Crime, sexual acts in the 1st degree. Hallie, 2006, my fault. 5 to 25 years he'll get. Count 3, predatory sexual assault. Unnamed accuser, Scaria, 10 to life. Count 4, rape in the 1st degree. Unanimous accuser, 2013, 5 to 25 years. Count 5, he was guilty, rape in the 3rd degree. Unnamed accuser, 2013, probation up to 4 years. So if they add up the 2 ones that he got, 2 to 5, he might potentially do over 10 years, roughly. I don't think they're going to give him 25 years because of his age. And, you know, he is a Caucasian man. They're not going to throw the book on him like that. I doubt it. And it said one accuser, Maria Mimi Hallie, a former production assistant who had worked for Weinstein, claimed he assaulted her at the apartment in 2006. The jury found that Weinstein forced a sex act on Hallie. All right. And the charge of rape in the 3rd degree came from Jessica Manning, who is now being named by ABC News as she told the district attorney office she does not object to being named publicly. That charge came with sentencing guidelines of probation up to 4 years. C. Vice, the district attorney at Manhattan, said at a press conference that the case and the woman who testified against Weinstein pulled our justice system into the 21st century. In 2015, Vance, a district attorney, chose to not arrest or prosecute Weinstein for a misdemeanor sex crime after another woman, Abra Batilian Gutsuri, worked with police to report her allegations that Weinstein groped her. Rape is rape, whether it's committed by a stranger in a dark alley or a domestic partner in a work relationship. Vance said, adding that to own an immense debt to the women who had the courage beyond measure to testify. Weinstein was charged with rape one woman, not acknowledging as Manny in Manhattan Hotel from 2013 and performing a forcible sex act on a different woman who had identified herself as Helene in 2006. He pleaded not guilty to all charges and claimed any sexual encounters were consensual. In addition to the two women behind these charges, 4 others testified in support of prosecutors' efforts to demonstrate a pattern of sexual predator or sexual probation. Prosecutors were attempting to convict him on 2 predatory sexual assault counts, both in which carried possible sentence of 10 years or 10 years to life. Roman Ferron, one of the journalists who reported on an extensive allegation against Weinstein, told Good Morning America in January that prosecutors were taking a big risk by seeking these charges. It is difficult that elements of proven not guilty or not only the charge an issue but also a course of conduct. A pattern set a very high goal. It's a atypical, Farron said, adding that it is not a slam dunk case. More often you see something like a prior conviction being the predicted that established the patterns here. They have a proved brand, new additions, face patterns. Heading into Monday, the junior had deliberated for 16 hours, including about 4 hours of testimony being read back. The jury had indicated some trouble in coming to a decision, which included day of deliberation. On Friday, they had asked the judge if they could be hung on counts 1 and of 3. The predatory charge and unanimous on the other charge. In total, 28 witnesses were called in for the trial. While it is disappointing that today's outcome does not deliver the true, full justice that so many women deserve, Harvey Weinstein will now forever be known as the convicted serial predator. The silence breakings of a group of people who had accused Weinstein of assault said in a statement Monday, this conviction would not be possible without testimony of the courageous women and the many women who have spoken out. Me Too, a movement found in 2006. I'm not sure that's true because it was founded by a black woman, because I never heard this crap back 14 years ago. I heard about recently 2 years ago, so I don't know about that. We would do well to ask ourselves how many of these women names we can actually remember beyond the bold-faced few. Certainly Harvey's name will be smeared in our collective memories, but many of the survivors will be quietly taking stock of the impact. And let me give the sum of this because I heard some other outlets because this is to find more detail. One of those counts. Let me fast forward. Also, my phone. Let me go back. And some people probably will correct me on this. Hopefully. It said that the 2 red lines here, because everything is 5 and only red 2 that he was convicted, sexual act in the first degree. And I think one of that is probably when somebody validated a testimony of what this person said that what happened to her with Harvey Weinstein was one that got him. So it's like a he said, she said that also implement him in that conviction as well during the testimony. So now, let's think deeply on this. Let's think good. Harvey Weinstein is going to do time in jail. It's evident now. And the one thing that got him convicted was of the words of the accuser that sealed the deal for that second conviction. Now, this is what I find out with a lot of men, white, black, Asian, Arab, Indian, whatever, that we're not noticing. And this is what I'm hearing now from a lot of men. And the things that they're scared of, which I'm going to say this personally. If you're a man, you should not be scared at all. At all. You should not have no fear at all if you're doing what's right. Now, if you a man that falls under these parameters from groping, trying to take the pussy without sitting there, coerce and make sure that the woman feels comfortable to give you the pussy, then yes, you will at this time in this century, right now, you will get slapped up with a Me Too, where you might potentially do time in jail as a man. And the fear that I've noticed that a lot of these men fear because their interaction with women today, whether outside the workforce or in the workforce, can be detrimental and can be dangerous now in the 21st century. And I notice with a lot of men that works around women, they can't act and be like a man because of now women have this so-called power to sit there and say, you Me Too me, you look at me funny, you're Me Too, oh, you actually touched my hand, you're Me Too, oh, you accidentally brushed up on me, you're Me Too, oh, you said something slick to me, Me Too. It's ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous. I'm telling you right now, it's getting goddamn ridiculous. I can't remember one day men used to be like men and men bold. And at times you like a girl, you want to sit there, shoot your shot anywhere, whether in the bar, whether in the grocery store, hell, even in the workforce, because there are some sexy women in the workforce. Now, because of this, they're going to make it a little hard for you dudes to sit there and shoot your shot. It's going to make it so difficult. You can't even you don't want to think of having a daydream that you want to engage with this woman without she think that you're thinking about her, where she's going to slap you with a Me Too. But this is the West we call America. This is America we live in today. And the sad thing about America, as we know it, that, it's now come to the point, since this man is convicted, now every man is concerned. It's funny, no man was concerned when other men, especially black men, that was getting accused, falsely accused, except Bill Cosby, because Bill Cosby's stupid. But every other man is going to get falsely accused of attempt of inappropriateness with a woman, touching her, gracing her, hell, even having sex with her. They didn't say nothing about this. But now that Harvey Weinstein is convicted in 2 counts, which the 2 counts, if I read it to you again, the 2 counts, criminal sexual act in the 1st degree and rape in the 3rd degree. Now because of this now I'm hearing a concern. Wow. That's just some crap right there. Now you're concerned because the so-called European man is convicted by the same premise all the other actors and celebrities are getting charged up from, getting not slapping wrists, they get in time in jail. Imagine that. Wow. Some go as far as lose jobs. But because he is a European man, a so-called prestige European man, from last time I checked, doing this, now it's concern for other men, including the black men in this so-called Western world we call America. It was a load of crap. I don't know what it is. But I understand why most men that's doing podcasts and doing streams on this is concerned, because their daddy is convicted. Or what they want to call the zaddy. What is he? It's sad to say that, because this, a lot of men, including the brothers, if you work in corporate America, you might have to be careful. If you have a certain fetish for non-black women in the workforce, if if you have not learned now after this case, I don't know what to tell you. These women are going to mess you up, my dudes. Yeah, they're going to find you nice and sexy if you play if you shoot your shot nicely. But in the background, if you don't play ball with them, or they're going to slap you with me too, depending what status you are in the corporate field. They might just even to go far, you might not have no status in the corporate field. They just do it just to get you fired. It comes with the game. It's come with the territory. Because, as you know, this Western world we call America has given power to women now. And they've been giving women the power now for decades now. And the purpose why they give women power, which creating what they call feminism, which feminism was created by a man, a psychologist man. He taught two women this thing on feminism, and they go branch out and present feminism. It was not just created by European women, no. It was created by competing group of men, which are non-black men, European men, white men particularly, are the ones that created the feminism, taught feminism, and which brought out, created feminism for these women. So when I hear other men, especially black men, talking about, say, feminism destroyed everything, you got to do your homework and research. Said that the sisters are not the ones that destroyed. This was presented to them by other women, which was created by who? Competing groups of men. But you can't tell certain black men or melanin men or, what you want to call it, men this, because they have not really got a clear understanding of the foundation or the origins of feminism. It's a weapon. It's a weapon to destroy not only the European man, but to destroy your black ass. And especially it's supposed to destroy your black ass, especially because you hold no merit, you hold no power in this society, or we call it this country called America. So, if you knowing that he's going to do time in jail, it's going to affect every other man operating in corporate America. Now, one of the few things I hear that what's going to happen in corporate America now, because they are going to probably, and this is already a prediction that enough men have already predicted, but I will rephrase my predictions that probably might be familiar, is that now, if you're a man that's working in corporate, most likely they're going to separate you and the women. Matter of fact, if certain men run certain Fortune 500 companies, they might incline not to hire American women. Repeat that. Owners, CEOs, or the ones that run Fortune 500 corporations will not hire American, aka Western women, in their corporations. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to hire some women because, that's illegal because there are, what do you call this thing? Affirmative action and all this stuff. But they're going to be selected and handpicking which women they're going to hire moving forward. And while hiring these women in this process, they're also going to, protect themselves by, putting a barrier. They might sign some disclosure contracts, if they're not already, which they're going to start implementing now when you start working these jobs. If not, you will not get this job, which they could do. And why I'm saying this, listen to me good, hear me well, is because now everything is going to be done by contract, which is going to protect the CEOs, the ones that run the productions, make the films, all that. They're going to thoroughly protect themselves very much tight now. I remember from a lot of ladies that work with Boyce Watkins had to sign some little dumbass contract. And the reason why they had to sign this contract, and I'm going to say some names, and a lot of people can get at me with this. I don't care. From Michi X. All the women. I think one time Brianna Note signed one too. All these women signed those non-closure agreements. And it makes me want to say, why would a brother like him want to have contact? Because he knows he doesn't want to get caught up like these other competing group of men in regards to what women will do if he acts up inappropriately, which I believe he has. Because no way hell you work for that, you just have it. Because no woman's going to go out the way and go sue you unless you're doing something inappropriate. And he has done this for years now. That's why you look at most of that no longer part of, his organization, some of the women, is because of that non-disclosure contract. And there's other reasons that go into it. But I see what the man was doing, because he's doing this in light of this Me Too stuff. And he already was well ahead of it in advance. And I think every other man moving forward is going to do that as well, to protect and shield himself from their client or their employer to the employee, if I said that right. And maybe that's not maybe enough to protect them in this society we live in. Might be, potentially. And, it's kind of interesting how he's getting married now. And it kind of is the right time now if you've been messing around with your employers. But that's not a story. But like I said before, this was really an eye-opener, a big wake-up call. And these are a few things now that CEOs, the people that are running these corporations, are going to start doing now. And they're going to do this. Because now they're not secure and safe moving forward in the 21st century. Everything they do, from interaction, talking, negotiating, or everything, even go as far as you're going to take them into your hotel, which is really stupid. Why would you, a man that CEO, would say you're going to do an interview in your hotel? You're asking for trouble right there as we speak. More like say, you ask how you're good and say, come meet me in a hotel for interview. Let's see if you get this role. You as you come in and say, all right, let me show you. And he said, no, before you start, get on your knees. And he said, what? Wait, get on your knees. And he just put him down and just, pulled on his pants. She had to, get into the business, handle her business. You feel me? Got to handle your business. And after he's done and he, shoot his load all of her, he then, makes the decision, if you get the role or not. Hey, that's how they did back then. Decades ago. But now that's all going to stop now. And have you noticed with a lot of men that have certain status and certain wealth or money, that if you look how they're not really attracted, these are things they have to do just to get pussy? When I think about it. Normally they're married. Enough of them, especially European men, they get married heavily just to show that, not only can handle a relationship, but, show a poise that, that they were taken, but still operate behind the marriage and have intercourse with random women, especially women that they're trying to get employment in the business, either music or Hollywood. Hell, look at Russell Simmons. He's no longer here in America, and they're going to eventually get his black ass very soon. Because if they're able to prosecute Weinstein, definitely they're going to go all the way to Indonesia and yank that nigga up from Indonesia and say, yo, we're not done. You're next. And trust me, Oprah tried it, by putting out Surviving Russell. Oprah's a wicked chick, I tell you. She's very wicked. One second. She very wicked. But like I said, and it's funny, a lot of people that's in the business knew these dudes were creeps and was doing this, and they did not say nothing. I think even they participate in this crime, which they're not really talking about. I heard stories that Oprah used to line up these women to Mr. Weinstein. Interesting. And I thought she was caring for women, not just black women, but just women in general. No. Matter of fact, Oprah kind of fell on stage accidentally. I tell you, the chick is going to come home and roost with her very soon. Mark my words. Just watch. It's coming. Her day's coming. But like I said, with Weinstein, this man right here, yeah, he's going to do some heavy time in jail. I can see it. I predict he's going to do roughly 10 years. And I say this roughly because that's the number that came up in my head. Anything more than 10 years, I don't think he's going to live long in jail. I think if he knows he's going to do close to 12, 15 years, he will have a heart attack right there in Ruckus. That's why they watch him right now closely and watch his vital signs. Make sure he doesn't really commit no suicide or have a episode where he just, get a heart attack, a major one. Yeah. That's crazy, though. Yeah, so this is his effect, the Weinstein effect, that potentially might put an end to all interactions in men and women, not just in America, but just in the major workforce, corporate office, regular interactions outside work, etc. This I can see is very much a heavy blow now because he's a prestige man that has a track record of abusing women sexually, like a predator. A man like that who can't really get women unless you got some wealth, that's the only way you're going to get some pussy. And that's how it really goes at the end of the day. That's how it really bogs down. You think about it, that you got to have something as a man. If you're not good looking, tall, keep yourself, shape yourself, you got a hard time getting women, especially if you're not very sociable. You don't know how to talk to women. It's going to get hard, you as a man. So, on few things that you could fall back on to hope to get some coochie or pussy, you're going to have to, either do two things. Level up, get some money, or better your body, your character, and charisma. It's one or the other. You don't do either or, you're not getting no coochie. You're not going to get, no one's going to pull down her pants for you. Hell, they might not go as far as make you get a whiff of their yoni, their pussy. So I can't let a man smell me unless he got something. Yeah. But like I said, these old non-black dudes are creeps. And now their karma has hit them now. I see it. I totally see it. They got some karma now. And the chickens really has come home to roost. So anything that people have not learned right now is this, that you're going to have to be a better person. If you're going to be around women, interact with women, do it right. Be honest, at least, goddammit. You're going to have to, because women now make their own money now in this country with the help of the system. Because the system, make it possible now for women to be in some shape or form an even playing field with the men. Decades ago, usually the men used to provide everything and the women had to do too much. Now women have to work now for the past going on 50 years now. And because of this, women have a sense of entitlement and a little power now. But the problem with this way is you can't have both ways. Once you start taking on masculine roles and you have to work, you fall in line with the men, And that's what this country has presented to a lot of people, especially women today. That was the purpose of, creating feminism, to push women out of being mothers into the workforce and becoming like men. Let me give the call number for tonight's show. The call number for tonight's show is 712-770-4160. The access code 915-411#. I repeat, 712-770-4160. Access code 915-411#. Tonight's subject, as you know, is Chaos Reign presents Weinstein Effect and the End of Interaction with Men and Women. Another thing I do want to say, before this opens up, is that another solution that men could take right now is that you're going to have to separate work and pleasure now. If you're a man that's not, on the top of the top in your corporate field. Now, I heard from another YouTuber saying that men are going to have to start recording everything now, including having sex with the opposite sex. I'm not really condoning that because, I don't advocate most who record stuff like that, like porn, which if enough people are doing that already, I can't even speak on that. But when you start playing around with, say, before I get in the business and put this condom on or don't have a condom on, let me just turn this video recorder tape. Some people said, they'll look at it and say, ooh, you're so kinky. You're kinky. No, he's about to record so that way anytime you feel that it's foul and cry rape, he got it on tape. A lot of women not really think about that, If you're dealing with the right chick, if you get the woman in the right mood, you could probably play off a lot of things. But, a lot of them not going to think that the tape is really in protection of your ass. Now, the same YouTuber said that that's where the direction is going to go because, people, especially women and men, especially women, they're going to sit there and lie about everything now. Everything's in their favor. The law's in their favor, all this stuff. They don't have to really show evidence. Hell, they don't have to even go to the gynecologist or the police to be tested for rape with the rape kits. And, it's funny with rape kits, now that I'm talking about, with these rape kits and disposable for a lot of women that has been sexually raped, they're not taking advantage of the rape kits. And we all know the major predatory in America of rape is white men. White men is the number one in rape culture. Not just America, but globally. But since we're talking about America, he's number one on the list. And I can see why a lot of other women, black and white, either they go and get tested if they're raped. They don't do so or do enough to really start put a lot of handcuffs a lot of these predators that have initiated rape towards them. And I have a problem with that because usually when you go for a sexual experience that somebody just takes the pussy and you stay in shock and don't do nothing, you put yourself more in harm for not only yourself but for the next woman to really have the balls and energy to sit there, go out and, get tested. Because a lot of women feels that it's not going to make a difference. They won't believe them. Hell, I hear a lot of sisters say that. But I think my mind said, you can't always keep thinking like that. If a man takes your pussy, you got to fight. Use everything possible. If you can't fight him off and you let him take it, then next big step is to get tested. Get tested. The rape kits are there for a reason. Use it. Go to your local police district or the hospital, wherever, and get tested for rape. I'm telling you this as a man, ladies, you have to be more responsible. You got to be. There's no choice now. I don't want to hear about this he said, she said, or this word enough to get enough of these sexual predators convicted. You can't bank on that forever. It might have gone well in the Weinstein case where he got convicted because of words that she said that he got raped in the time where. But don't bank that move forward that's going to be for every woman, especially your ass, ladies, especially you sisters. You got to get tested now. Anytime that action happens, you get raped, you go right away. You wake up the next day, if you're still alive, and you get yourself tested. So that way you get some form of justice. And I'm saying it's because we have to be responsible now. I mean, the system makes it easier now, but don't depend on that forever. I mean, because think about it. What has happened, there's going to be laws that's going to be changed now because of this Weinstein thing. And I'm not sure what laws will change. I'm not sure it's going to be in favor to the European man, but I know there's going to be laws put in the books, and it's going to affect a lot of men, if it hasn't already. Because now, men are not going to put themselves in a position where they could do time in jail and get screwed by another man in jail. They don't want to be somebody else's bitch. That's why you see Weinstein, when you heard he was going to do time in jail, he's going to have a heart attack. You think any man, white, black, wants to do time in jail? To be around pure men, no woman, no access to no pussy, but pure men and be somebody else's bitch? Are you serious? No man wants to be in that line of life or want to put himself at risk like that. Some have done time and done it. But overall, most men that was unconvicted for wrong crime and doing jail, they are never the same once they do time behind bars. You always got to worry about how their mind is going to be once they come out of jail. Hell, besides what's going to happen to their body if they're going to be sexually assaulted and raped. Because men do get raped in jail, ladies and gentlemen. And people don't understand why would other men rape other men, because other men have a propensity to penetrate. And it's sad to say, or it's sad to say, that some men could get around for years and maybe not engage in any, what we call intercourse or penetration. But some men can't. And that's the danger of imprisonment, And a lot of men that have status and wealth don't want to be in prison with other men, which he could potentially be raped himself or something worse. 'Cause in jail, there are actual rapists and killers in jail. And to be around that environment will make you go insane. And no man, any race, especially black men, wants to be in those situations. So, you have to know that, like I said before, these are things that men are going to start take precaution to protect themselves in this so-called era we're in. Hell, even interacting with another woman, they might have their friend right there side to show proof that, he was interacting with this person. It's leading to that. It's going to lead to that. But times you can't do nothing as a man if you're in the corporate world. Well, a friend you could trust to say, I'm going with a coffee date with this person. Can you stand right side by side me while I'm interacting? I mean, it's going to get crazy out here, man. Having sex and engage with opposite sex is not going to be easy in America as I speak. Hell, this might even lead to what they call even homosexuality, possibly. And why I'm saying this, because now, think about it. You have these transsexual men out here, crazy men out here, that want to get access to heterosexual men. And they can't get to them like that because a lot of men are not going to go down having intercourse or having homosexual sex with another man. But because of this weird era right here, that might be a possibility. If certain men are not already gay already. Most men that said that they're straight or heterosexual, You might find some that are living a double life. They're bisexual, which is no such thing as a bisexual man, mind you. To sit there, interact with the same sex, much less the opposite sex, because they know the same sex, really, truly, that's what they want. Because most transgender men want to compete with actual women. And they know they can't compete because they don't got an actual pussy, a womb, or anything that makes what we call a woman. They have to be artificially, be fake, all this stuff. So, most men that, if they're not gay already, might entertain them now just for the sake of protection. Because once they interact with an actual woman, she would go out her way to destroy you. But not no gay man or a homosexual transgender man, because that's what he wants from the start. He wants to feel, act like a woman. So the best way for him to compete now is that, most of these dudes will give these weirdos and freaks the time of day. Yeah, this is true. So, there are many avenues now because of this that is going to try a lot of men in the coming years. I only see it potentially might get worse for a lot of men, even black men, if he's in corporate fields. This might get worse for you, potentially. And if you're not a man that's already prepared for the backlash or anything that will throw against you, then you're going to get engulfed and eaten by the wolves and by other entities of the system if you're not careful as a man. One thing I just said that foreign women will be hired more into the workforce is because most women that come from another country come here and have a certain knowledge or skill to work in these same corporate fields. They're not going to be too afraid of them because they don't know their rights. And another thing, they could potentially be sent back home, if they're on a visa. So I could see most CEOs or people that, running these Fortune 500s will start hiring more of them and less people that's born here in America, because people that's not from this country don't know the actual rights because they're not actual citizens. And if most non-black men, Caucasian men, when they do their business, they do the business outside of work on the average. That's on the average. So like I said, it's going to get bad downhill. I also might expect most men that's making some decent money, I might expect someone might eventually paying for the pussy, potentially. That's a potential because prostitution is illegal in America, but, a lot of dudes can get around that. I'm talking about the back page, because back page only exists, but they find ways around to still fulfill their sexual lust desire here in America. And if they can't figure it out here, most likely they're going to go outside the country and pay for poon tang over there. Because the laws are different outside America, and they will explore those options. Hold on a second. Let me check. I'm going to check this line. Somebody raise a hand. So the call number again is 712-770-4160. Access code 915-411#. I repeat, 712-770-4160. Access code 915-411#. The first call opened up. A man from New York City. What's good?
What's going on, bro?
Yeah.
So I didn't catch.
I didn't catch the subject title. I don't know what's going on with the phone there.
All right, you good. I can hear you better.
All right. What was the subject title exactly? I heard what you was talking about, but I wanted to know what was the title of the show.
This is dealing with the Weinstein effects and the potential the end of interaction between men and women as we speak.
Okay. All right. So that's how you got into the conversation. All right. So cool. All right. So first on that, I'll say that his situation is. It's not the same as a Bill Cosby. It's not the same as R. Kelly, but it's similar. And maybe because they are in the entertainment field, more to Bill Cosby because they were in the movie and TV, realm, right? Or in that type of, work field, right? They're in the same field. And then R. Kelly in the sense of with his music and stuff, right? But three different situations, right? Because they had their own situations as far as who they dealt with, how they got into, the situation that they got into, right, with the women, right? Where these women came from, how they connected with them, and how they used their power or whatever, and what was the turnout. The results of everything, the accusations. So it's similar, but I think separate, right? And I think with Weinstein, because you have a lot of women, or a few women that came out that were, somewhat known actresses, and they had some support behind them, the Me Too movement. They're going to give them some time. I don't know if it's going to be 10 years. I don't know. It might even be 5. We shall see. And then, like I said, I think that every situation is kind of different for his shit. Not to say that it's more or less. I'm just saying that the way they're looking at it in the law and stuff like that. So that's why, you're going to see the outcome. Sometimes it goes good. Sometimes it doesn't. Anything is possible with his situation. Right now, regarding that with the end of men and women relationships, no, I don't think that that's the situation that's happening. If for the most part, when you hear these cases that are coming out, right? First of all, they're coming out, big because these are people in the industry, right? In the entertainment, movies, music. So they have they're very well known out there. And, for the news outlets and everything, that's also publicity because they know that they got these big name artists or entertainers, with a shocking story. And whether it's true or not, it's going to be big news. It's going to bring in, views and things like that. So I think that's one of the pieces. So, going back to with the women stuff, right? So I would say that, you see, those are different situations. Like, every man ain't dealing with women in movie scenes, and even, this does exist in different, in workplaces, right? This is a problem on a bigger level, or if you want to say. But the thing is that every man ain't dealing with women like that. So I'm saying to you, when you say, well, it's going to be hard to deal with a woman, nah. There's women. You see, the problem is I think for the most part, I'm not going to say all cases, the woman is being proposed to, a proposition, or as a man is forcing himself, or the technique that the man is using. And when I say technique, not that you're trying to get over, I'm just saying that whatever he's trying to do to engage with that woman sexually, or he's attracted to, he's going about it wrong. Now, obviously that's why they're in the situations they are, and every situation is different. Sometimes people get jammed up, but I'm just saying some clarity I think is important. So again, the regular person is probably going to get some clarity, you know, when they're talking about, like, you know, for what I know in my years and growing up with my friends that never got into no situation like that, is that, you know, there's clarity. There's, you know, hey, listen, you know, like, what we getting into? You know what I'm saying? And things like that. There's a conversation, and not or the vibe, you know. And one thing is this, is that these cases, for the most part, it has to do with celebrity, and that's a difference with the average person that goes to work, you know. But again, we have a problem with people in positions of power or fame and stuff like that. Not all. There's certain cases that they use that as, you know, to their advantage, you know, and not in a good way. You know what I'm saying? It might be manipulation or whatever. And the point is that when you're dealing in that avenue, you know, you liable to get caught up. Sometimes people get away with it, and a woman might look the other way, you know what I'm saying, because embarrassment or whatever, or, you know, she just, whatever situation, a lot of times, it's like they say, it's not even reported, right? So what you're saying, what's happening, the problem is, it's not you don't got to worry about having to deal with a woman, because Gary deals with a woman a different way. You see, so it's not, I think that what the real reality is that, you know, for those that are planning to act in a certain, or behave in a certain way with a woman, maybe you want to think twice about that. You know, maybe your approach, how you deal with it, the comfortability that you have, you know, because that's another thing, is that sometimes we might get too familiar, you know what I'm saying, feeling like you know that person like that. You got to be easy. So sometimes it's, you know, it's technique. When I say technique, is you got to go about it a different way. And if the woman is not feeling you, you got to know how to understand that, respect that, and move on. And not use it as a power to dangle because you in a position of power. But, you know, people are going to do what they're going to do. I'm just one person. Myself, I won't do it. But, you know, people do what they do. But I'm just saying that there's a consequence to that. So I'm just saying that, you know, for those that are in, you know, in a wrong approach, dealing with women, then they got to worry about that shit. You don't got to worry about that if you're dealing with men. So I don't worry about that whole Me Too movement, because I've never dealt with, you know, with my woman anyway. I'm good. But I'm just saying that if I was single, I don't give a fuck about all that. You know why? Now, I respect it, of course. I don't want to get people confused. I respect that movement on what the women are doing, you know, if they being violated and shit like that, and it's happening. But I'm not worried for me, because my approach dealing with women, I don't have that problem. You know what I'm saying? And the people, you know, so, you know, but at the same time, people get jammed up as well. So let's you know, because I'm pretty sure it's but what about people that do get accused and got nothing? You know, they never did nothing. That's a worry problem. You know, so you just gotta, I guess, know how to maneuver. You know what I'm saying? And don't get jammed, and try not to get jammed up if you're not doing nothing wrong. But also know how you behave and your approach. With, you know, again, there's some women that are willing to deal with men certain ways, and there's women that's not, that won't, you know, they don't like that, or they just, that's not the way they deal. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying that in general, if you going to hire a woman for a job, you know, you shouldn't really, I think you shouldn't involve personal with business, you know. So, you know, if you're going to give her a job because of her qualifications, or don't give her the job because she doesn't have the qualifications. But don't use, you know, your position to try to, you know, because that, again, that could come back and haunt you. So moving on from that, right? That, I'm just saying. So just to close that out is just to say that, you know, the average man, for the most part, if you know how to deal with women, and when I say deal with women, it's just in general, like how to interact and know your boundaries. and not get too familiarized, and know, again, your boundaries, I think, is the most important thing, and get clarity, the do's and don'ts, what she likes and what she don't like, and keep it moving. Now, going back to this thing about this gay stuff and homosexuality and all that, I'll say this, man. I got to tell you, you have to get somebody that is well-versed in that. You're not an expert in that, Gary, and that's good that you're not an expert in that, right? So you don't know about this lifestyle. You're not a doctor, and I'm not saying that to offend you or to diss you. What I'm trying to say is that you should get somebody on this show, because it'll be very interesting and informative, where you can get the perspective from, let's just say, a psychologist, even if people think that he's wrong, but get some different perspectives from people that are dealing in these fields. Somebody that is gay, somebody that consider themselves a bisexual. You might say that that doesn't exist, but a person, so maybe you have a different meaning, but a person that deals with, that is attracted to two sexes, the same sex and then the female sex, male sex, a woman that likes men and females. What do you call that? I mean, so you could give it any name you want to give it, but that does exist, and I think that to really get down to the core of some of this stuff is really to get somebody here that knows about that and can talk from their perspective. And you understand it better, or maybe not understand it, but you could, I don't know, just be in a better place than where you at now. You know what I'm saying? In a sense of, because you might not understand it. Maybe it's not for you to understand, but you can get their perspective, which has a reason. It's not so much speculation and, this, that, the other. And another note. If you're going to be gay, you're going to be gay. If you're going to be bisexual, you're going to be bisexual. If you are heterosexual, that's what you are. I don't think you're going to get forced into nothing. You know what I'm saying? What happens in certain settings where people that, they go on the other side or whatever they're doing, you got to get to the core of that. Why are they doing what they're doing? And that's what I'm saying. You can't understand it, neither can I, because that's not you, right? So, I can tell you my perspective on, how I deal with a woman and why I'm attracted to her and this, that, the other, right? And then they can tell you their perspective, and then you can kind of understand why. And again, I think that if you're a straight person, nothing's going to turn you to something else unless you're forced to it, and then or unless you're that's what you call manipulated in a sense, or just maybe that's something you're a person that is experimental. You know what I'm saying? And some people are just like that. So I mean, it's just different reasons, and I think that you probably will want to get somebody that's an expert to come in here, and even a person not an expert, but just a person that lives that life, and they could tell you, yeah, this is why I do what I do, and then you can say, oh, okay, again, you say, I can't understand it, but you get in their perspective, and it just kind of fills in all the blanks on some of the things, even though that you won't understand it, but you get some answers. Might not be the answers fully that you want, but you get some clarity of why they, or why this person is the way they are, what they're doing, and that's it, brother. You know what I'm saying? But you're going to do what you're going to do, and what I would say is it's going to be hard to, if anything, to know when a person has an operation or something of that, like, I'm not going to say that nature because that's different. So I'm just saying that you're going to have, for the younger generation coming up, let's say babies that were born in the last couple of years, when they grow up in the next 20 years, plastic surgery and all this technology and shit is going to be so enhanced that, you're going to have to be asking for birth certificates, if you want to know what's what.
Yeah.
You might not. Yeah, go ahead.
the policy right there.
Yeah.
It's interesting you mentioned birth certificate. Now the states in this country, now if a person is born somewhere, they could change their birth certificate now.
I was just about to say that. I said, you can't even trust that.
but you see, the only reason why I mentioned the homosexual piece, and really I didn't want to include it, I just threw it out there because of the scenario of what if or the possibilities, if depending on how people operate in the society, that might be the next option if they have not dabbled already in homosexuality, which they call most men, if they want to label bi, which I don't believe in bisexuality, but that's another story. That's why I kind of threw that in there. Right. And I really didn't do it intentionally. I just threw it in there for scenarios that, just for the sake of, these people, especially ones that are transgender and stuff. I remember there was an article piece said, if you want to stop being biased, you must stay a transgender. There was an article on that. I never talked about it because, I don't go far and talk about this thing. I don't talk about every little thing that's out here throughout the net. But I'm big to say, this will open the doors for them to get potential access to so-called heterosexual straight men. So-called, Because no man doesn't want to get caught up in a scenario where he might potentially get Me Too. And trust me, certain men, if you notice the men today, they're more afraid and timid just to interact with women.
I don't know what you're talking about, brother.
No. Listen,
I don't know where you at. Gary, I go out places,
you not know
brother.
Where you at, but this is a rise, a slowly stepping rise.
Brother, listen, I be all over the place, man. People are interacting. I don't know what setting you're talking about.
Well, you're in New York. So you have to interact because you're in the city. You know what I'm saying? Probably
but I'm talking about all over the world, man. People are interacting, man. This is just like I said,
Well, we say in the world. We only deal with America right now. We can't.
Well, let's deal with America, the United States of America. Look, you just had a big event that just happened in Miami, right? You had the Super Bowl just happen. All right, you just had the All-Star game just happen. You think that anybody in there that's going over there and all those women that went over there and people are scared to interact is less interaction? I doubt that, brother.
This is dealing with the workforce. I'm not talking about the average. And even outside the average
okay, so the workforce.
And let's say outside the world. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying who knows because we have not seen articles or scenarios like this yet. But for the sake of conversation, the purpose really is first the workforce. Outside the workforce, anything goes. You get me?
Okay, that's something different.
And that's what I was discussing earlier. I didn't want to tell you that because I just let you talk just to get a feel of just the label of the topic to see where you at. If you listened earlier, like the first 40 minutes of the show, you would have heard me say about the corporate office and all that stuff. But you just came in, so I didn't want to go all the way. Say, let me go to recap. I'm not doing that. I'm going to stop doing that.
Well, you could have just said the workforce. But now that you're there, I would say that depends also on what workforce. But, what setting of workforce. But I would say, and if you want to say like the office type of job, the downtown scenery, there's probably some overthinking or not overthinking, I want to say that, but, thinking twice, on dealing with people in the work field in your job. Yeah, I agree with you on that. But it also depends on what type of field. So in the office field, maybe in the schools and different things where you're dealing with certain people that is like, wait, I'm not going to try to, talk to, my coworker and shit like that. Not on that level. So, I agree that maybe people are thinking twice about it because of what's going on, and it has some effect, but it's not stopping everybody else from going and meeting and connecting, man. It's just your approach. That's what I would say. And be careful because there are some cycles out there, too. So you got people on both ends, whether it's a man crazy or a woman crazy, you could run into some shit. You just got to know how to maneuver, like I said. Might have to do a whole check up on vice versa.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry. My line just dropped. Can we?
Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah. So like I said, we shall see. I know a lot of people were focused on this heavy at the end of the verdict of this case, and I'm gonna tell you personally, Jay, I'm kind of glad to do this during time in jail because, Richard, I've been hearing a lot of brothers and people outside this media talking about, this man might not do time in jail. They're hiding and not talking about it. The reason why they're not talking about people is because this is one of their own. You think they're going to have, like, videos and also talking about Weinstein? No. You got to read those in the articles.
I'm saying you got Bill sitting in jail, and again, different situations, but something similar. And like I said, I know that again, everything is not the same for the cases, but there's similarities there, and you're not going to deal with the case the same. But I'm just saying that people, you got him sitting in there, you got R. Kelly, and yes, if they did what they did, they should go to or be in there. So then deal with this guy the same way. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't asking for no more, no less. It's like if you did what you did and you fucked up, there's a lot of people sitting in jail for far less, and they there. Now you get a pass because you got a lot of money and shit and a good lawyer. That's the system. They're trying to make it seem like they've, that the system is changed or it isn't, and it's crazy because sometimes it's a contradiction, which is a lot of things. But, you hear like, oh, we finally seeing that, that it doesn't matter if you're rich and you got money, and, and you're white and this, that, the other. But then on the other end, you see a lot of fucking shit. Like he just got sent to fucking Bellevue instead of going to Rikers Island. I don't know if they put him in Rikers Island already, or he was able to find, have them convince them that he was, and he could do it so many ways. He give it to charity. He could do a lot of shit that he could maneuver without asking the judge, like, oh, well, help me out or whatever, because that's not, that's against the law. But I'm just saying that I don't know if he's still sitting in Bellevue, and that was a real slick way of avoiding to go directly to jail, because Rikers Island is not going to be cute. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about, the privilege shit.
And think about this. With him, he was not really privileged once they gave the 2 counts of a verdict. The first thing happened to Weinstein, from what they said, he slipped into a so-called brief heart attack. And as they, lift him up and put the handcuffs on, they sent him straight to Rikers Island first, and then sent him to some Bellevue hospital somewhere, I don't know if it's in Rikers and stuff, just to be checked out,
Right.
It tells you what the justice system law. They don't care how you feel in the verdict. They don't care if you have a condition, illness. Once they sentence you or they give you a verdict, that's what is it. End of story. The only thing that is the sentencing part, which we'll know in 2 weeks how long he's going to stay in jail. At this point, I don't really care how long he stays in jail, because once you're convicted, that's pretty much a done deal. Jail time is inevitable right now. It's inevitable. And like I said, most men, not just white men, but men in general, don't want to see no time in jail. They don't want to do no jail time for any crime, either non-violent or violent crime. They know what's going to be on that other side, Jay. You get me? They're going to be around killers, rapists. Hell, some men that never had actual intercourse with a woman, they're going to try to make you their bitch. It's not a pretty sight, man. People think that jail is a punishment. It's only there to make you more crazier if you're not crazy already. You come out normal, you go in normal, you come out worse, crazy. Yeah. And a lot of men know this. That's why you look at a lot of well-established men, especially European men, white men, don't want to see time in jail. You get me? They work hard to avoid jail time.
Well, shit, in Germany, the jail is nice. That's what they say. I mean, that's a whole different story. But, I mean, no jail is nice when you got to be locked and tell somebody what the fuck to do. You know what I'm saying? That's about it. But for him, you know, he fucked up. He do what you got to do. If there's people sitting in prison for far less, and they got jammed up in prison or got crazy lengthy, you know, and they did a petty crime or didn't do any crime, and they sitting in jail, you know, and you know, then you got him, and he been doing his thing for a long time, and he got a lot of money. Like, come on, man, that's crazy, you know. But America's been doing that. That's why I try to say that it contradicts itself. You know, it says, oh, we don't do that. We don't care who you are. But, you know, it doesn't say that with a lot of people. Look at the statistics, you know, see who's locked up. And, yeah, there's a lot of white people. I mean, you know, they got white people in prison and shit. You know, let's not get that twisted. But at the same time, like, you know, a lot of people got jammed up for far less. That's my point. Even if you did some shit, you fucked up, all right, you do, if they, you know, if the crime fits the time and shit, but you got people sitting in jail and they didn't get a chance. They didn't get a chance to go to the hospital. They went to the Rikers Island Infirmary, all right? Rikers Island Infirmary is not no Bellevue. Bellevue, you get better care. So, I'm just saying.
Yeah, man. Rikers Island. I'm not sure if it's one of the worst jails in America.
Nah, it's New York City. It's not even a prison, but it's the holding place where they hold all the prisoners that are going to be sentenced to go to, you know, do like more than 2 years, and they get sent upstate. So if you talk about bad prisons or the worst prisons, is once you go up. When you go up. But Rikers Island can be bad because you got a lot of people that's there that's waiting to go to court. Some of them know that they're not coming back out, so that's where they start acting up. You know, and then, you know, there's a lot of fights, you know, stabbings and shit like that. And, you know, so you got people from all 5 boroughs locked in there, and some people from Long Island waiting to be sentenced, you know, to go to prison. And some people might get out. You got some people that's waiting there to, you know, that are there for a year, you know, but they've been sitting there. Again, so this goes back to what I'm saying. Like, you might get out of jail and then you find out, oh, that they dropped the charges and you sat in jail for a damn year.
I see. Okay. ABC, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I heard what you were talking about Weinstein and this thing about guys kind of fearing dating or asking a girl out. We talked a little bit about that last night. But the basic idea is I definitely understand that the climate has changed, but maybe the only difference I can see as far as what guys need to take into consideration is understanding the climate. So, you know, whereas in the past you might ask a girl out and she might be like, no, you know, I'm not interested. And you might pursue a little harder. You know, you don't immediately give up. You're like, well, you know, I'm just, you know, just let me get that number. I can call you sometime. We can go blah, blah, blah. In these days, you might be like, as soon as she's like, no, that's okay, I'm not interested. You leave that shit alone and take off. You pursue too hard, you might be harassment or something, particularly at the job. You know, I wouldn't mess around pursuing too hard at the job at all. But even in a club or whatever, you know, you shoot your shot, but if it don't work out, you just move on.
Yeah. And, you know, like I said, the workforce now is going to change forever. And, you know, I predict, like most people that already know it, that, you know, they're going to be more, it's going to be less, it's not that it's going to be more stricter, but a lot of people that they going to have around, they're going to start to cut back substantially, you know. And I think that it's going to open the doors for other foreign women to be in these so-called corporate work office than regular American women. Because usually, mostly CEOs or people that in high positions, they're not going to take no risk with regular women. You know what I'm saying? That will know their rights, per se. Because of this now say, you know, I don't want to lose my job or much potential do time in jail just by looking at women or doing something inappropriate. No, screw that. Let me go find some other women to hire up in here, you know? Because remember, they got...
Well, you know...
A lot of people feel that women not going to get hired in certain positions or get into higher positions in certain fields like that. I would say I would agree, but also disagree because we have a thing called affirmative action. As long as women could work in this job, you can't really... Well, they could slow it down in regards to certain positions, like levels of it, but to really start saying, you know, we're not going to have a certain set of women on here to hire, I just don't see that because that would be illegal in this country unless they're able to get around that. But we'll see. You know.
Yeah, I don't really see them mess with that too much. And the thing about women, they're like illegal aliens as far as they work harder and they do it for less money. So business-wise, I think they'll continue to hire them. But besides that, it also fits into this this agenda to feminize the society and the country. You know, women are going to continue to be what I was going to say, prosper. And you know, I mean, they'll have the opportunities, they'll do their thing and all that stuff. Where they're going to suffer is in relationships. You know, I mean, it's already like that. Guys ain't commit and all that kind of stuff. And that's like serious. I mean, that's real serious. You can hear, talking with a lot of women, you know, you can hear some here on the show, but just, you know, at work and stuff and hearing some of these girls talk, it's hard for them to find a real, you know, a guy that's real and real about marriage and real about a relationship. I was watching one of these videos here recently, and they said that the lady's sex organ, you know, sex from a woman, is like the stock has dropped. The value of it has declined because the culture is so promotes this stuff where it's like, you know, one night stands and all this kind of stuff. So, you know, dudes don't have to work for it so much. You know, the women are competing with each other and they all giving it up. So it's like dudes are like, hey, you know, I ain't gonna get married. Should I mess around and do what I want to do and shit? So they having a hard time, you know. But the culture is all about that because they really don't want us getting together anyway. They just want drones to work and shit.
Yeah, well, that's what it is to have just mindless bots. You know what I'm saying? Come in, do your time, go back. And I say, come in, hey, how you doing? What's your name? Can I get your number? You know what I'm saying? Can I you know, take you out to eat? You know, and it leads to something else. And I said earlier in the show, ABC, that it comes to the point where, you know, they might, like one YouTuber, I think, was it Curry? I don't know if he said it. One of them said that dudes going to start just recording themselves if they go and, like, you know, have some sex with some of these women. Or go as far as to have a friend that they could trust next to them while they're talking to the women to have some evidence. Just in case, you know, they try to Me Too them. Wait, I got something.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
That's what's going to happen. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. So, like I said before, this is going to change the landscape of how people interact now. And unfortunately, it's sad, but it takes a man that's part of this so-called dominant society, so-called competing group of men, to really make that change now. You know, it was okay when they did to black males, black men. But when a white man gets the sense like this, now it's a prop. It's like, oh, God, this is going to be a problem for all of us, men. Well, you are a Negro in this society, so what they do to you is expected. So when it happens to them, like, it's 10 times worse. You know? I mean, I just don't get a lot of these dudes, you know? Yeah.
Hey, Gary, you asked me to call in, man?
Yeah. Is there any take you could give from what not what I said, but the subject in itself, if you can?
Well, I wasn't listening. I seen your title is Harvey Weinstein. Was you talking about that, or what was you talking about?
I was talking about the effects of the verdict and how this might affect interaction between men and women, mostly in corporate America. Because if you think about it now, he got convicted by a woman saying that what has happened between him and her, which led to the conviction. It was by verbal. It was not no evidence where it said, I got the rape kit years ago or decades ago when it happened, and I have some evidence from police. No, she said, he took me back, he fondly raped me, and that was it. And they said, oh, guilty. They're going by words, no evidence.
Okay.
That's what got it.
Well, I mean, I think I said this the other night, and there was a couple of other guys on the show coming from your perspective to where, you know, where the accuser, they said that somehow or another, just like you said, there wasn't no evidence of what happened. And my opinion is that Harvey Weinstein has been proven to have predatory behavior. I looked up, there was over 100 accusers of him, you know, either committing some type of violation of their privacy or forcefully doing something to them. So this guy's habitual. And in an instance like you guys are pointing out with this one person just not having any evidence, I think that's, I don't look at that as significant enough to try to de-justify her claims because of Harvey Weinstein's behavior. So these guys are saying that somehow or another there was no proof for that he did whatever. Well, he's proved it over and over again that this is what he does. There's hundreds of claims out there, over 100 claims of how this guy conducts himself. So to me, you know, I don't think it's going to bother the men and women relationship in the workplace. And when I say that, what I mean is, if you got somebody that looks at women like ABC do, he sees breasts and he lose his mind, then that's disrespectful. If he see booty and he can't, and the woman can't help, that's the way she's naturally built, and somebody like him oogling over her, that's a violation of that woman's privacy. Humans are born with ass and titties. We just have to get used to it, and everything shouldn't be looked at as sexual, especially depending on what environment you're in. If you're working with somebody and they happen to be attractive, that doesn't mean that they're trying to get your attention because of the way they're naturally built. You know, that's just ridiculous for us as men to see sex organs and just lose our minds. We got to have more discipline than that. That woman is not inviting you to violate her because she dresses a certain way, or she shows some cleavage, or she wear a fitting outfit. That woman is not inviting you into her space. The only way you get invited in somebody's space is somebody offer you, hey, what's your name? I like to get to know you better. That's when you're invited into that person's space. Other than that, that's just another stranger that happens to be attractive, you know. So I don't look at it the same way as a lot of people do, and I think that he got what he deserves.
You know,
hey,
okay.
Well, go ahead. Well, I was just going to say, I agree with you about Weinstein. You know, I ain't got no sympathy for him. But to the point that we were talking about, I do think that this plays into the climate of Me Too and all stuff, and they'll continue to perpetuate that. But as far as what you just said, you know, of course, women don't invite you to attack them or sexually assault them and all that kind of stuff. But I do think, especially at the job, if someone was wearing a low-cut blouse and half her titty hanging out, you know, I don't want to hear no, hey, don't be looking at me. Like, get the fuck out of here. Your titty hanging out, even if we're at work. And I wish he would try to put in some complaint. I'd be like, look, hey, let's walk down here together. Look at what she wearing. That shit is distracting. I can't focus on the job. Her titty hanging out. Shit.
Mm-hmm. See, and what you hear right there, Gary, that's exactly why Harvey Weinstein. That's exactly why Harvey Weinstein went to jail. That's exactly why he went to jail, because of guys like ABC that can't control looking at another human body, knowing that breast is for nurturing children and women.
Man, get the hell out of here with that shit. That's stupid.
I didn't cut you off, brother. I know it hurts.
You're right. You're right. You didn't.
I know it hurts, ABC, but these are facts, man. Whenever you become a man, whenever you become mature, you should have enough self-discipline to know that you're going to see attractive people in the world. They exist. But those attractive people, like I said earlier, is not inviting you into their space just because, like ABC just described, somebody's breast is hanging out. He's going to lose his freaking mind. Why? Now, what needs to happen is he needs to analyze himself and say, why am I getting sexually attractive over a complete stranger's titties? That's what you need to actually, in other words, every time you see a titty, you lose your mind. That is an immature thought, ABC. That is not manhood. That is childish as fuck. It's immature. You can't just look at every titty and get aroused. That don't make no sense. That's crazy.
This is perfect. I'll just leave it there. Tyrone just said, you can't look at some other lady's titty out in public and be getting aroused. That's sick. That's what you just said.
Yeah, I know, and I stand on that.
That's crazy as hell.
I stand on that. And I stand on that just because I respect people. I respect other people's spaces. But you being immature in mind, you don't understand that perspective. You're still an adolescent when it comes to sex organs.
So let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
So, and again, I want to be clear. You just said, hey, you can't be looking at some lady's titty out in public and getting aroused. That's bullshit. So if you say that, then do you agree the same way that if a lady's walking out in public, like let's say in the park, with a thong on, it could be a thong bikini, the guy shouldn't be looking at her? Is it the same idea? The breast hanging out, thong, is it the same idea? Do you feel the same way that the guy shouldn't be looking at her?
Well, I don't think. I mean, I think that person has a right to walk around with a thong on wherever she want to walk around with it, if that's allowed, right? So if somebody's out there doing that, then no, I'm not going to oogle over that person. I don't care how she looks.
Okay, all right, and I guess we would have to start getting into defining how long of a staring is Googling and all that shit. But man, there's a girl out there with a thong on. This is to have this expectation that dudes ain't gonna be looking at her like, damn, hey, what's up? Hey, how you doing? All this kind of shit. Yeah, you're provoking that attention.
Well, what comes to my mind is like women. We were talking about breasts. Women naturally has to breastfeed their children. So, as a man, if I see someone breastfeeding, that is not attractive to me. What that is to me is nature doing what nature does. I'm not supposed to get turned on by a mother with her breasts out in public feeding her child. You, on the other hand, if the baby gets hungry and the mother wants to feed that baby in public, you're going to knock the baby out of the way so you can see the titty. That's how you...
Hey, Tyrone, somebody wrote in the chat room a question. I don't know if it's a question or a statement. Tyrone, research the distinction between crassness and violation of privacy. Get back with me, please.
Why would I do that? There's no okay, listen, this is the deal, y'all, and this is the way I look at it from a human perspective. We all come into this world butt ass naked, right? Now the standards that is put on our society is installed by societies and their rules and their regulations on clothes and dress and who wears what. So those standards are something that has been enforced by man. Now, whenever it's all said and done, if you can grow up and be mature about it, you realize that humans are on this planet and we supposed to be running around here butt naked, except for they created a market to where we got to buy these clothes and cover ourselves up with. So I can respect that another human has a body, and that body might look a certain way, and I'm not supposed to get aroused by looking at that human body. That's just me, but I guess some people don't do that.
So Tyrone, another question. You know, similar to the breast thing and the thong thing. So you said, and I agree that the breasts are for feeding the babies. And if a lady, you know, started breastfeeding next to me or something, I ain't gonna be like, damn. But when her titty pop out, I'm gonna look for a minute, like, yeah, okay. But I ain't gonna stare. And honestly, when you see the baby there, then it puts it back in perspective. You're like, okay, well, that's a baby. But you know, these organs, the breast and the vagina, you know, it's sex, it's sexual. So and the way that this culture is and all this shit. So I think it's natural that we get aroused by it. But you just said that we shouldn't be getting aroused by her breasts. It's about the baby and all this kind of shit. So by that logic, do you say that men shouldn't get aroused by a woman's vagina because babies come out of there?
No, ABC. Listen, the only time, and I guess I got to talk to you, teach you the birds and the bees. The only time as a grown man, you should be aroused by the opposite sex is, for one, if you're in a relationship, in a committed relationship with that person, then no other female should be turning you on. You should be committed in that relationship. And then if you're not in that committed relationship and you are single and you're out there on the prowl, the only time you need to be turned on by somebody is if somebody invites you into their space so you guys can have this type of relationship. If you're in a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship, you're out there looking at titties saying, ooh. So why you're in that relationship if you're going to look at everybody else? I think that you're being disrespectful in that relationship whenever you do that. And if you're a single guy out there looking, I think that you're violating people's space by inviting yourself to oogle over them or comment on their body parts. That's just out of basic respect for the next human being. It's not like I see a fine person and, ooh, oh, shit, I got to have that. That ain't the way I think, man. I mean, I grew out of that a long time ago. The way that okay, I can tell you, because in high school, that's the way my brain worked. My brain worked just like you're explaining right now. But I grew out of that through 20 years of marriage, and then, you know, in and out of relationships. I grew out of just jumping after a girl because she looked good. So, in other words, you got to mature past those adolescent ways of thinking, ABC, and seem like you well into your damn 50s, and you still thinking like a high schooler.
Well, let's be clear, because we started out talking about arousal. You said that, you know, you shouldn't be aroused and all that stuff. Now, you didn't push it further to say, you know, I forget what you said, but basically it was like, you know, you acting on it. You know, oh, damn, I want it, and all that kind of stuff. Being aroused is a separate thing from, hey, and, you know, having all these reactions and shit. Being aroused is this thing get hard, right? You're like, damn.
No.
Or, you know, you start feeling that sexual thing, but that don't mean you got to act on it. You don't have to say nothing to her, nothing like that. But if you can see it, you're aroused. You know, then you're aroused. And that's just natural. You know, what killed me is, and I want to take up Gary's show, you know, but, man, you're a perfect example of everything that Sarge talks about when he gets into this liberal lefty stuff and all stuff. And there's truth to that, the liberal lefty stuff. I don't like to play that because the right is messed up too. Both of them screwed up. But, you know, to be so far gone that you're going to deny being aroused by a woman that's walking around in a thong, and, you know, we assuming that, whatever, she's good looking, not some fat, big, you know, but whatever kind of woman you like, it's that woman walking around with a thong, or that woman that's got half her breast hanging out, but she ain't yours. You just see her in the street, and you ain't aroused because you ain't supposed to be aroused because you're not in a relationship. Man, you're crazy, man. That's silly, and that's the silliness that we've gotten to in this culture, in this society, that we're gonna deny that you attracted to, you aroused by something like that, even though you don't even know the lady. She just walking down the street. You know, that's silly.
Okay, well, I want to be clear. ABC is saying that being aroused is a hard penis. and that's just not the definition of arousal.
Well, it ain't the only thing.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying that it and that is why me and you think differently right now. Whenever I'm talking about arousal, I'm talking about paying attention, oogling, you know, not necessarily an erection, ABC. It's almost like you're. I mean, that is not what I said.
No, you're right. Oogling is a that could be arousal. You know, you're like, damn, you're looking at
right.
All
So now that we cleared that, now that we cleared that up, you know, now that this grown man is teaching this adolescent how to think about the opposite sex, we can go forward in the conversation, because what you just said, what you just did was ignore the fact that you're acting and conducting yourself just like a 17-year-old mentally when it comes to the opposite sex. You're in your 50s, and when we're talking about as black men setting an example for the community, if they hear you talking the way that you're talking, what kind of example is that to set? That's showing that you don't have any discipline. That's showing that women are objects. That's showing that everything that Harvey Weinstein did was all right. I mean, we got to have some limitations. We got to put some restrictions on the way. At least we put the message out there that women are not objects. We can't just oogle after somebody that has big cleavage or whatever. You just can't. That's not what you're supposed to do. Now, of course, like I said, the attraction is there, but you got to have discipline, man. You got to be mature about some things, you know. And if you was on a dating scene right now, ABC, and somebody heard the way that you talk right now, nobody would date you. I mean, you probably get a quickie or something, but I mean, they wouldn't date you seriously because they know that you oogle over women. But anyway, I don't know, Gary. Harvey Weinstein. I mean, I think that he got what he deserved, man.
Yeah, I believe, and you know, it was ready, and it's time well said that he got what he reserved. Now, I think someone wrote in the chat room, said, it said here, Tyrone, you are a preacher's son, and want to do enforce blah, blah, blah. What's this? Enforce perjury was a common trait amongst the companies in Mao China. They passed out harsh prison sentences for what they view as sexual legitimation. Legitimation. Can I say pronounce it?
Right, but see what Sarge is saying, and that's not. He's trying to say that I got some type of extreme view. Listen, I'll give you one word that sums up what I'm describing, and that one word is respect. Respect the next human being. That is it. Respect the next human being. And another word is discipline. Have some self-discipline. That's all I'm saying. I ain't saying nothing extreme, like, you know, if you violate somebody's space, that you go to jail and all that kind of shit. I ain't saying none of that bad shit, sorry. I'm just saying, just like I respect. Go ahead.
Just what you just said, have some respect and discipline. And I agree with that. Those do not deny being aroused. So you can be aroused and still have respect and have the discipline not to be like, you know, all that kind of shit, or just staring like you done lost your mind. You can have the discipline where you ain't doing all of that. And,
well, ABC,
and the respect.
Let me show you why tonight on this conversation between you and I, you displayed that you don't have discipline. One of the first things that came out of your mouth is, if I see somebody titty hanging out, then I'm going to lose my mind or whatever. That's undisciplined. That is undisciplined, ABC, and it's disrespectful. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say that you're disciplined and respectful when that's the first comment that came out of your mouth, is that how when if you see a titty, you're going to lose your mind. That's crazy.
All right. So let me say what I said. I know what I said earlier. We were talking about, you know, how women, all this Me Too movement and stuff, and they accuse you this and that and all that kind of stuff. I said, if a woman's walking around with half her breast hanging out, I don't want to hear no, hey, don't be looking at me and all stuff. And I said, especially if it's in the workplace. And, you know, all I said was, I don't want to hear that. You know, don't be looking at me, or you looking too much and all that stuff. That don't mean I'm going to be staring at her the whole time, oogling at her.
Okay, now,
but
when
I'm talking to her, hold on. When I'm talking to her and we look at face to face, but my eyes straight down to see her breastises, and then my eyes going up and down and shit. And I ain't talking about just constantly looking at. But when she see my eyes dart down and look at her breast, I don't want to hear no shit because half your titty hanging out, and that's disrespectful. We at work. Why you in here dressed like half your titty hanging out and shit?
Well, right, and that's why I say your brain is disconnected from what the hell your mouth is saying. That is what you just described is not discipline, ABC. You're saying because you're at work and somebody has their cleavage showing that you can't help it. This is what you're saying. You can't help it if your eyes wander down. Whenever you saying that you can't help it, that your eyes wander down, that is showing that you don't have no discipline for your eyes not to wander down. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but what you're telling me, what you're saying is in the workplace, we supposed to become automatons, and we ain't people or humans no more. We supposed to, deny that natural, instinctive, they go a titty, and ain't nobody talking about that little bit of top cleavage. I'm talking about when the blouse is low enough where you see, and I keep saying half the titty hanging out. So one of those real low cut things that half that titty is, you can see it. That's some bullshit, man. It ain't you supposed to have discipline, don't be looking at it. Half her titty hanging out. It's disrespectful for her coming in here to the job like that. This ain't the strip club.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we just disagree on this, and obviously you're gonna violate women's spaces by looking at them, and I'm not gonna do that. I try to respect people as much as I can, man, but
they violate my space by doing that. I'm at work. I came here to do a job. You violate my space with your titty hanging out there. That's distracting.
Yeah, can somebody listen to this fool right now? Wow.
God damn. ABC, you're a wild old man. I've listened for years now. Now I have to really say, it's the first time I had to really sit back and look at, examine, and say, Andrew, you wild too, man. I mean, if a chick came out here with a low-cut skirt and she has a round ass, you're going to be like, oh? Your eyes are going to glue in like it's nothing tomorrow.
Y'all exaggerate.
You look so hard, your eyes are going to bleed, my dude. Be careful, man. You got to be careful, man. You married, dude. Remember, your wife is listening to you right now as we speak on this line. What? You want to do what? You get in your bed, she take her backhand, slap that. Taste how about that. Hold on. I got somebody that's calling. Let me take this line. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? All right.
I got another call. Let me answer this line. All right. I hope your line. Who's this?
Mama's boy, peace, Gary.
All right, good. All right. So what's up, Yashua?
No, I was. What's the topic? Is this a topic or what? I mean, what's the topic? Is this what the topic is?
Are you looking at the board on YouTube?
No, I'm not. I'm on my phone. No. I wasn't looking at the board. No. But I kind of. Well, I did turn. I turned in. I came in when I heard ABC and Tyrone talking about I guess the breast, the cleavage, whatever y'all was talking about. So I was worried about that. So that's what.
This is the topic. Joshua, this is the topic. The topic is Weinstein effect. And can this be the end of interaction with men and women as we know it? That's the topic.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, men are attracted. Some men are attracted to breasts. I mean, that's just how it goes. I mean, but here's the thing. Where I work at, in some cases, that they have literally sent women home if they are dressing too provocative. They send them home.
Right.
And tell them not to. Yeah, and they tell them not to come back like that. Because see, it's what they don't want. They don't want to be a situation where a guy is looking or a guy might say something stupid. I mean, because there's companies that's been sued just by looking, that they have sued the company. The girl felt uncomfortable. So now what they do now, they send them home. They said, no, you would not come here dressed like that. No.
So it should be a warning, one warning, and to do it again, automatically it should be terminated.
So they don't always intend to terminate them, but they do send them home and tell them to come back, or they say come back, or they send them back in the back and then talk to them and say, we don't need you dressing like this, okay? It causes other problems, okay? And I've seen it happen where they send people home. If she's wearing, now it's getting worse. Some cases, they send them home if they're wearing those spandex and they wear like something over top of the spandex. They send them home. Sometimes they send them home then. They tell them to leave.
Right.
They
sent someone at home in my work where they had on those shoes look like stripper shoes. They're like, hey, look, that ain't we don't do that over here. You need to change those shoes.
So a lot of, fortunately and unfortunately, a lot of workplaces are looking at things differently now because they're trying to protect themselves, because a lot of workplaces have gotten sued, man. I mean, a young lady can say anything and she can sue you. And sometimes what companies do, they're not going to court. They're going to settle with her. They'll feel like going to court. They just settle. So they say to keep from that happening, they got to keep a close eye on, on admiring on what they wear. Same thing with men. They've sent some men home who are not dressed appropriate. They say, hey, man, So, but yeah. So that's all I got to say about that, man. I'm done with that. But I've seen it. I've seen it happen. Some young ladies come to work. They're showing some cleavage and. And then, of course, you do have the competition thing at work with women. They in competition with each other sometimes. And if she come in there and she's showing and she outshining the other young lady, that can be causing a problem too, especially if the young lady's a mander, and she's going to say, oh, and then she's going to send her home. See, so that's another dynamic that they're dealing with too, that type of stuff. But anyway, that's all I had to say, man. I'm done.
Thank you, Joshua. So what's good, Mom's Boy? What's your...
What's good, Graham?
What's your take in general? Because you didn't listen.
Well, I think Harvey Weinstein got what he deserved, and I don't think his particular case gonna have anything to do with the way normal black men, go after the black woman. I don't think so. I think it might have something to do more with how, rich white men go after, but maybe not our community type of situation. And I had a little joke for ABC, don't be crawling under cubicles and shit. That was it.
I got you.
Okay. But, Mom's Boy, it's really not just the black woman that most dudes should be concerned, but these non-black women. Because usually it's really non-black women that really get a lot of these dudes caught up the most in the workforce, if you think about it, Mom's Boy.
Right.
So, and I'm not saying sisters will do that to you too, but it's very rare when it comes to interaction between black men and black women in the workforce, on the average. I could be wrong, but you don't see the same cases. But with the non-black woman, oh yeah, you got to be careful if you're a Negro in the corporate world. Sometimes they will say, you're going to give me some sex. You won't, I'm going to tell a lie on you. It's back in the old days. Back in the old days when they said, it's how I say, you're going to have to fuck me. If you don't, I'm going to tell my dad, have him lynch you, hang you, kill you. It might be the same for the workforce. Oh, you going to not offer me your dick? Or, all right, we'll see. You're going to get that pink slip or something worse. One thing as a brother, if you have that charisma and that prestige, that look, image, and you're the only black man in that corporate world, where you're around predominantly with non-black women, white women, you're going to have problems, man. They're going to try itching to get you. And they're going to feel sick because they're white, that anytime you as a brother, you're just going to, just give them the dick. And if you're a man that's very strong, you're not going to do that. You're going to have a hard time surviving the corporate world when there's more of them than you.
Well, you just got through hearing ABC. I guess it going by what he described, he gonna be hitting that. She got that titty meat hanging out, and she rushing you at the bathroom. He gonna hit that.
Hey, so real talk question for you, mama's boy.
Okay.
You at work, and some lady got half her titty hanging out. You ain't gonna be looking at it?
Well, no, not really. I might notice it, but it's kind of like you still at work type of thing. And I'll tell you my reason. I mean, I have that type of self-discipline, for one. For two, she probably not my woman to be looking at like that. So I'm probably going to be just like, okay, it's a titty. I've seen plenty of titties before, and keep going to work.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty funny.
I mean, I have sisters and a mother and a daughter, and one thing I wanted to throw this on the table. I heard you talking to Tyrone ABC, and it was just a concept that came up, or maybe not a concept, but a situation that came up in my mind, and it's plausible. All right, what if a young lady's washing machine breaks, and the only decent blouse she has left, to wear, until she can get her shit washed, is something kind of low cut that she wouldn't normally wear to work. It would qualify for her to wear to work, but she knows she's going to get so much attention on her breast. That's why she never wanted to wear it, but she ain't got no goddamn choice because she got to go to work, right, and get that money to fix her washing machine, right? I mean, would that change your perspective while you staring down her blouse?
My perspective, yeah. That wouldn't change me from seeing half her titty hanging out and thinking, damn, she got some big titties. It wouldn't change that. But my perspective on it, like you said, when I know that she normally don't do that, but this is her situation, all of that would kind of like tamper things down. I'd be like, well, yeah. And I just try to ignore it.
The only reason why I brought it up is because, I mean, obviously you wouldn't know that, unless you found out after the fact. But I guess maybe I'm going back to yesterday. Your word consideration,
right?
It's the fact that I like I said, I'm brother and son and father and uncle to women, so I kind of like consider that before I, you know what I mean. If I'm at work, I ain't looking at not one female up there in some sexual manner because it's work. Now, I don't want no fucking shit on me. I don't know too many men who do. So just leave it at work. Even outside of work, I'm not going to approach a woman that doesn't look at me and say, come approach me. I mean, she may be fine as hell, but if I look her way and she looks at me or don't look at me, and I don't get a signal to come, I'm back in, my ride down the street. That's just one I missed. Nigga, fuck it.
Hey, let me address something you said. And I'm exactly like you. I'm a father, brother, son. I got daughters. All that. So I'm same with you. And just like you said, so I want to have consideration. I do have consideration for women. I absolutely agree with that, and I'm with you on that. And seriously, real talk, I'm with you on all of that. There's another way that I look at it too. And I'm going to say, I don't care what nobody say, I think that I'm one of the biggest defenders of women here on TRS. Having said that, though, I also hold them accountable, and I done shows on it. Don't be walking around dressing like you ready to have sex. Are you down to have sex? Because it's natural we're going to look at you that way. It's like you wearing the uniform like you ready to get down. So I think that they have a responsibility, and they should be considerate also about coming into the workplace dressed like they're ready to go to the strip club, or they're ready to get down. They try to find somebody they in heat, dressed like they in heat or something.
Let me ask you something, ABC. Whenever you say don't come in here like you're ready to have sex, you're talking about cleavage. You're talking about seductive clothing. You're talking about being scantily dressed and all of that stuff, right? For the woman.
Yeah, scantily dressed.
Now, is there a view from the other perspective when women look at men that they look at them as being scandally dressed, ready to have sex?
I don't know. You got to ask the women about that. And I'm serious about that. I never even.
Okay, right. And I'm glad you answered me like that. No, I'm glad you answered me like that because you don't know the other perspective, right? So now your standard is if women showing cleavage, women showing breasts. Right. What if a woman standard is if a guy takes his shirt off and plays around the basketball? What if that's provoking her or saying that that's some type of sexual stuff, right? What if a guy just simply wears a tank top and a woman look at that? So you got one standard here and it's going one way. This is why I'm telling you you're undisciplined and you're being discriminatory, you're being sexist, and it's almost like you don't see that there's two sides here. Because a guy can walk around with his shirt off, and I'm not saying women should walk around with their shirt off, maybe we are provoking women with our shirts off the same way that you looking at being provoked whenever you're looking at cleavage. You see what I'm saying? So you got to have two sides of the conversation, brother. You just can't keep saying, well, don't blame me if she's showing her titties. I mean, come on, man, that's crazy.
No. So let's get the woman's side, and just real quick, Mom. So I'm good with what you just said, man. If a woman says that my walking around with a tank top on or playing basketball out in the court and all this stuff, with a tank top or no shirt or something like that, is scantily clad and provoking her to have these sexual feelings, all stuff, I accept that. And I accept the consequences that come with that. I ain't saying I'm gonna have sex with her, but if she's like coming on at me like, hey, and all that stuff, then I accept that. Hey, look, I stimulate her sexually, and I might not. Maybe she's fat, and I don't think I ain't attracted to her at all. But if she's like, hey, you walk around here with no shirt on, then I accept it. I take responsibility for that. I didn't know about it, but now that I know, I ain't gonna be around you.
Okay, now. Good. I'm glad that you said that. Now watch this right here. Society and you have accepted the fact that men can go shirtless. Now, what society has always also accepted is the fact that somehow or another women has restrictions. And those restrictions in your mind is looked at as being, you look at it as being aroused because we as a society put those restrictions on women and saying that they can't show their cleavage or else my damn dick gonna get hard. Now you see the bias there?
Okay, all right, I'm good with that. I hear what you say, bias, but I'm perfectly good with everything you just said. Me and society, it ain't just me and society put this restriction on a woman walk around without a shirt. Me and society don't have a restriction on me, on the man, but we do have a restriction on the woman. That's not just me and society. So what's the reason we already know I'm a nutcase and I don't have any self-control. But what about society? How come society had that restriction on it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the biasness, and that's why it's unfair. So it's up to us as individuals to push back on wrongdoing, to push back on discrimination, to have discipline, and to have respect. That's my perspective. Do you get what I'm coming from? It's my responsibility to instill those type of morals and characteristics in me, so I won't run around here sounding like a fucking perv like you do.
Hey,
no, I hear what you're saying. The only difference, though, I apologize, man. Let me just answer Tyrone real quick. I heard what you said, Tyrone, but what you're saying now, this is a different story. You're talking about we have a responsibility to change society because it's me and society who has this restriction on women. Don't take off your shirt.
That is not That's not what I said. You got a responsibility. You got a responsibility to change yourself, to have discipline yourself. I didn't tell you to change society, so don't get that confused.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let somebody else.
What I want to say was, some societies don't have restrictions on women, and women do walk around with their breasts out. And it's no rapes. Ain't no man disrespecting them. You can go as far as going to just a nude beach. A nudist beach, and they showing their breasts. You know what I'm saying? And truthfully, that's the first time I ever saw that when I was traveling and I was on the beach and a girl walked up to me and she was topless. I mean, you know, she had no. I'm like, oh, shit. I said, what? Did I just see her breast? And I did, and I didn't say anything. I was like, okay, you know. Then I have to remember, I'm in their country and this is what they do here. You see, so and so that's what I had to think about. That's the thing. Okay, that's interesting. So, but getting back to as far as the trust and what Gary was saying, you know, these are non-black women who tend to throw these charges at, you know, particularly or they might throw them at black men. But I would say to Gary, you know, you can't trust any, you know, as far as the workplace, when you in that environment, you can't trust women, period, because you have to watch yourself. You have to guard yourself too. You know what I'm saying? Because in the case of Mr. Smiley, the women who accuse him are black women. See, but that's what's accusing him. These are not white women accusing him. These are black women accusing him. So I'm saying that you know, so it goes both ways. I just had a situation at work where we was in the meeting and the young lady was playing. And she said a joke, and she looked at me and said she didn't like me. So I'm looking at her, and some people laughed and some people didn't. And I didn't laugh. I just looked at her like, well, you don't fucking know me. So what are you talking about? You've been working here for 2 weeks. Talking about you don't like me. So what's your point? You don't know me to joke with me. You don't know nothing about me to joke with me. And they took like, oh, shit. So I'm like, you don't know me. So what do you mean? What's your motive to say something like that to me? Period. You don't know nothing about me. You just started working here 2 weeks. So I'm thinking, like, what's her motive? So I thought her comment was inappropriate. Period. I mean, you don't got to like me. That's not why I come to work, to have people like me. Bullshit. No. I'm saying to her that was inappropriate. I said, if I would have said something to her, like, I like your hair, or I like your skin complexion, or I like your hands, that can be construed as what? A sexual harassment, because they sure enough would have went there with me. Mm. See, but I don't know her to make that comment to her, so I'm not going to say that because I don't know her. She don't know, I don't know her. Now, if I was working with her and we were knowing each other and we was able to joke with each other without offensive, you know, whatever the case might be, then it's different. But I had to check her and tell her, you don't know me to make that comment to me, period. And they thought I was being too serious. I said, no, I'm protecting myself. What's her motive to tell me something like that? Because now that I got to work with her, now I have to watch her, because now she can say shit that's not there. Like, she can say, well, he looked at me. Or, I mean, you know, they think of all types of shit. You see, so it can go in certain ways, man. I mean, so you just got to protect yourself, and you got to understand that, you know, that you got to have a sense of discipline too. You got to have some discipline, because, hey, because they quick to say you did something to them.
Well, yeah. Well, I agree with you for the most part, because, you know, you do have to have discipline, and you got to watch what situation you in. But there's another side to it too. There's a side to where 2 grown people can say things that may seem like it's crossing the line, but both of those grown, mature adults know, hey, you know, we're grown and we really don't mean nothing like that. So you got that whole dynamic to where it's allowed in some circumstances, and then you got the other side where you have to be disciplined and you have to keep this a working environment. So there's that whole spectrum out there of environments that exist when it comes to men and women in the workplace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some places they don't allow fraternization.
Right.
Some places don't have no employee guidelines towards fraternization. You know what I'm saying? So look, if in doubt, just, you know, don't whip it out. Keep rolling. And, you know, I mean, that's just my thought process. Me personally, I ain't never been attracted to a woman that I know, you know, I don't have an opportunity to get with. So she could be fine as hell, but if it's like a no-go, I ain't looking at her no more. You know what I'm saying? What I'm looking at her for? Yeah, I could be looking at somebody that's giving me the go sign. I'm just paying attention to somebody I can't have. That's stupid. So I don't know. I ain't never been.
I'm looking.
Hold on real quick, ABC.
Like
hold on, ABC. Hold on, ABC. I just want to say this. I ain't never been a oogler or ogler or a starer or a type of dude. I ain't never. Maybe because I have sisters and shit. I would probably, as a young man, get offended if I saw some silly nigga staring at my sister's ass and just can't stop staring at her. I probably would have checked his ass or something. So I probably ain't going to be a type of nigga that do that shit. I only want to get with a female that want to get with me because it's going to be fun then. I ain't got to ask her to do shit. She going to be doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't never been that retarded ass nigga to try to want something that's not for me. You know what I'm saying? Or chase something down that don't want to fuck with you. So maybe I ain't never had the mentality to stare at somebody else's girl and want that.
Yeah. I think Tyrone, when he brought in this idea that society says it's okay for me to play basketball with my shirt off outside, but a woman can't do that. Society is against that, or society doesn't want her to be like half the titty hanging out. I mean, society puts more restrictions on her than they do me.
Man, I done seen dudes can't control themselves around a woman in a sports top. You know what I'm saying? Out there playing ball, got a little sports top on, and they just can't, get their shit together. So I don't even think they got to be naked. You know what I'm saying?
What you just said, no, and you're right. What you just said falls in line with why society has restrictions on the women where they don't on the men. Because this society, and I know it's broad to say this, but I think it's correct when Tyrone said that.
I think some places have restrictions on men because they got like restrictions on like the type of shorts men can wear. You know what I'm saying? Because girls be looking too.
That's cool.
You know what I'm saying?
So basically, what Tyrone was saying is that it ain't fair. It ain't even. And I agree with him. It's not fair. It's not even.
It ain't never going to be, I don't think. I'm sorry,
exactly.
Gary. Go ahead, brother.
That's my point. Go ahead.
ABC, relax for a second. Let me take this new line. Open line call. Who's this?
I mean, that's a great restriction, man, and double standard. With all the incels in this world, man, rape would skyrocket. Like, crazy.
Who's that? Is that
Anthony.
Oh, yeah, Anthony.
That's a good double standard, man.
To be honest with you, the rise of incel has been actually slowly growing since the early 2000s, And, a lot of these dudes that are sexually awkward and, can't get a woman or they feel they should entitle a woman. I mean, not going to hurt much anyway because a woman's not giving them time of day. I mean, what they could do besides do something violent to them, like physically, like either take the pussy or kill them, like the Elliot Rodgers of the world. So I don't see a lot. Don't see a lot of black men in that direction anytime soon. But these non-blacks, yeah, they're gonna be very more cautious now in the workforce. Yeah. They don't want to deal with this bullshit. To be fair. Anthony. But that's all you had to say, because I gotta take another call.
I mean, I'm good. Go ahead.
All right. I'll open your line. Who's this?
Big J here. A lot of y'all, first of all, restrictions on men. Well, there are restrictions on men. 1930, I know it's a long time ago, but it's recent. It was against the law for a man to be topless in 1930, 1940. So you can't just sit there and talk about, oh, that's the way it was, always has been. No. Laws has been changing, every so often. So to sit there and think that men were, that men were shirtless and they, all year round for eons, that's a concept that is flawed. So I wish people would research.
Well, no, Big J. Nobody said that, Big J. We're talking about today. Nobody said that. We're talking about today. You can go on basketball courts and see guys playing shirtless today, and you're not going to see those women out there on the basketball court playing shirtless basketball. That's just, we ain't talking about the 1920s. And you're probably right. I'm not arguing with your facts there. I'm just saying the way it is today. The reason ABC thinks the way that he thinks is because men are allowed to do certain things that women aren't.
But there are good double standards, though, Tyrone.
No, not necessarily double standard, but I do somewhat share the sentiments of Tyrone. I wouldn't say it's a double standard though. However, let me talk about this Weinstein effect in the interaction between men and women. Weinstein, the whole Me Too movement is not going to end interaction between men and women. What's happening is that there is a realignment concerning men relations with women. That's changing, and this whole idea about incels. I wish people would actually talk to an incel instead of just making these hyperbolic suggestions. The reason why some people are incels is based upon the lack of dating options for them, and also the changing of the dating world. Because some of them, I'm going to say some of them, believe that if you're nice, you're supposed to automatically get the woman that he thinks that he's supposed to deserve, and he played by the rules. So the rules, when the rules does not give him the access to the women that he thinks that he deserves, it spells out a problem. And there's also a thing called film sales too, but yet though I don't hear nobody going off on that part. Just saying that. I think incels and Weinstein effect are two different topics, two different issues. Thank you.
Yeah, there's one proclaimed incel. I could might find a head up.
Ed? Come on, Ed.
I don't know if I want to bring him on here, man. Yeah, maybe him. I said maybe him, but
Ed is not. He's not an incel.
Yes, he is.
He be playing that game, man. Like
no, he is.
It works, man.
I had that conversation with him last night.
A nigga in the hood, like you can be an ugly ass nigga in the hood. The nigga that acknowledges ugliness, he probably gets some hoes. Yeah, I know I'm an ugly ass nigga, but I still get bitches. That nigga, I'm just saying, he calling himself out. He's gonna have girls coming to his rescue. Stop talking about yourself like that, Ed. And next thing you know, they're chatting it up in the back chat. Like he knows.
I don't know about that.
Don't.
No, come on.
I've been knowing him a long time. Don't think he's doing an incel.
No, Anthony, that's your problem, Anthony. You using this stereotype that is somebody from the hood is ugly. It's somebody, he's automatically supposed to get pussy because he's from the hood.
I say that, Big J.
Yeah, but that's what you just did. What did you say, Anthony? What do
Ed always say? I know I'm ugly, right? Like, what can you say? Like, you can't even joke on this nigga at that point. He can joke on himself. What happened? You're putting words in my mouth.
A lot of people said that they're ugly. But what does that have to do with being an incel?
No, you're
But
talking. You're calling.
it's more.
I was telling you. I was giving you an example of the game that he's running, man.
No, he's not running no game. He ain't running no
man.
game.
I'm letting you. Ed is a part of the crew, man.
No,
when we call us when we came over here, he's a part of that crew. He just didn't come on here.
Look, Ed though is not running no game. Because me and him had that.
I'm not. If you
was on Ren's channel last night, when I kicked your boy's ass last night, when I kicked your boy Taz and the bitch ass twin man's ass last night. Oh, I'm sorry. He calmed down.
Talk about other people.
Calm down.
Okay.
The thing is though, what Ed was saying is actually, if you listen to him, see, a lot of people don't want to listen to what he's actually saying. Y'all just looking at him as some oddity or that he's playing. Well, no, you have to look. You have to look at the psychology. You're looking at the external. I'm looking at the internal of what he's actually saying. But y'all worry about the external factors and shit. It's more than what you think it is.
All right. I will end this on this note. In my closing for tonight's show, I will say this. It's going to be a different America, what we call the West, we call America as we know it. How this is going to play out now, moving forward in this now 21st century or the first 20 years into the 21st century, only time will tell. And I can tell most men, especially black men, don't be discouraged, don't be worried, don't be afraid. Always stay on your square game. Be like men, conduct yourself like men. You know what I'm saying? Have the cojones, the balls, you know what I'm saying? You know, if you want that woman, you want to pursue it, be like that man, pursue that, you know what I'm saying? You got to be a chaser, regardless. Don't let these women try to scare you out and try and put you in a position where, you know, you could lose your job and all that stuff. Nah. Some women will want you to do that, but, you know, in their hearts they don't. But anyway, that's what I'm going to say. Thank y'all for listening for tonight's show. Like always, you know, please like, comment, subscribe. And also, you know, be on the lookout. This will be on Chaos Reign channel as well, this stream as well. Follow me on Twitter at Chaos Reign 7. And thank you again. Until next time, good night.
Comment, subscribe, and like the video. And like always, you can follow me on Twitter at Chaos Reign 7. Thank you for listening. Until then, the Chaos Reign.